Focusrite in High Wycombe, and here's Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hello, Rob.
And he's going to show us the Liquidmix, the forthcoming Liquidmix.
Yeah. So this is the Liquidmix. It's the most affordable way of getting liquid technology into your door. This device here is a desktop control surface for controlling your Liquidmix software, and it has onboard DSP that powers multiple instances of that Liquidmix software in your sequencer, which appears as a standard plugin in VST or AU, and also RTEST through a wrapper. Now, the Liquidmix software is a compressor and an EQ. That's one mono instance of the software. Now, that compressor and EQ can be any emulation of any one of the list that the Liquidmix comes with, and it comes with 20 classic EQs and 40 classic compressors. So if I show you one instance of the Liquidmix software within the computer, then you'll see what I mean.
Shall I go to the screen now, yeah?
Yeah. So here I have an Ableton session here. If I select a track, and you'll see Liquidmix just shows up in my plugin list here. If I open up an instance, then this is actually a stereo instance of Liquidmix, and you can get a total of 32 channels, all running simultaneously off the one hardware.
Can you have multiple panels open at the same time, so you can jump between one and the other, tweaking things to hear how each interactively affects the other, for example, or does the panel only show one plugin at a time?
The software itself, I think that's more a limitation of the sequencer, as opposed to, I think in Ableton here, if I select on the track, the plugin disappears.
Okay.
So in that sense, it's difficult. I think some other applications, I think Logic, does it allow you to have? I think it allows you to have multiple instruments on screen, but that might just be actual Logic instruments. I'm not sure. So no, in this instance, we can't have multiple ones on screen, but they all do run simultaneously. So. So this is one stereo instance, so I could have another 15 of these running within this session. Now you can control these from the software, from the plugin window here, or you can do it from the hardware. I find it's quite cool to do it from the hardware, so if I go to the track select here, and I write, say if it's the name of a lead, I just write lead. And now if I press track select on the hardware, that will show up as lead, and I just, I can scroll through and select the one I want. So if I want to select a compressor from the software, I just click there. This actually isn't the complete list, but, and then you've got all your classic ones here. Now, some of them obviously we're allowed to name exactly as the original unit.
But that's your own product.
That's right, yeah. But a lot of these other ones are sort of named fairly discreetly. So you can check a key that I think we're going to have in the manual, which tells you the original unit that it's sampled from.
Are you at liberty to say?
I might right now. I can't even remember half of them. But yeah, we are allowed to say. I mean, essentially, we're allowed to say it's an emulation that is sampled from an original unit, because that's what it is. So
Brit Desk 1, Brit Classic Desk 1 might possibly be.
I think that's been sampled from a Neve or. Shall I get the list with that?
If you really want to.
Yeah. Let me get.
Shall I pause it for a sec?
Yeah, pause it for a sec.
Okay, will do.
Yeah, so this is our list here. It's not the complete list, but all of these, as I say, have been kind of worded to sort of imply the original vintage, but not stated. There is a key available. It's either going to be in the user guide or available online, where you sort of check these names and they'll show you the original vintage unit that the emulation has been sampled from. So
that Brit Desk 1.
So that's, as far as I remember, being sampled from an original Neve VR console.
Okay. And when you say sampled, could you explain that for people?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
How exactly does the unit work in terms of emulating these classic compressors and EQs?
Well, it. You can maybe cut back to me then. Can we?
Yeah.
Can we sit down?
And now we're going to go technical.
The process going on inside Liquidmix and the liquid channel, at least the digital side, is called dynamic convolution. And what that actually is instead of trying to model these vintage originals like you get with some plugins and all that kind of thing, it's more of a sampling process. So what you do is actually based on impulse response measurement. So in the same way that you can measure the impulse of a speaker or a microphone or anything like that by just sending a spike in, seeing how it comes out, and then the way it's modified gives you that impulse response. You can do exactly the same thing with mic pre's and compressors. Send in a spike, see how it comes out, and that gives you an impulse response. Only obviously mic pre's and compressors both behave dynamically, so you need to send in impulses at all different levels. So you send in one at one level, then reduce the level slightly, send in another one, and that gives you these banks and banks of samples.
And you go through different frequency
That's right,
ranges or individual frequencies? Or?
Well, an impulse response itself actually sort of contains all of the frequency information, so that's why you can obtain, for most things, if you're not interested in the dynamic aspect, you can just obtain an impulse response just with one spike. So all of these banks and banks of samples are what makes up the emulations inside the Liquidmix.
Are you at liberty to say who did all that?
Who did dynamic convolution?
Yeah, who did all
It's
this
a process sort of originally invented by Synthefx, and yeah, it's something that we've worked with them on since then, on the liquid channel and also on the Liquidmix.
And I presume they kind of did lots of ABs and tweaking and ABs and to refine it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's been a lot of work gone into it. I mean, the liquid channel itself used that as the digital side, and which sort of accounts for the sonic character of the vintage originals, but also had a big analog front end, which is required for mic pre replication. So you actually have this big complex mic pre, which when you switch in a different mic preamp emulation, it actually switches out the hardware and changes it physically to sort of morph into the front end of the original. So,
how long do you think this has been in development, in this product, roughly?
Oh, some time.
Yeah.
The thing that actually slows it down probably the most is each EQ takes a very long time to sample. So because not only do you have to obviously fire in all the samples, but you have to change every setting. So if you've got a full 6 or 7 band EQ, then you've got to change every control and every combination, send in the impulses and get the data. So some of them take over a week to sample.
So it's storing a lot of data in it.
Oh yeah, serious amount. Yeah, it varies. Some of them obviously, some of the EQs are just a 1 band or 2 band EQ, or you don't have many settings at all. Some of them are just a fixed curve. When you run the installer, it installs all of your emulations into a folder on your computer's hard disk.
Okay.
And those are those sort of work in combination with the software on your computer to produce the emulations that all actually process off the hardware. So they go back in and out down the firewire cable, but because firewire is so fast, you don't really have any latency. So
I suppose you'll be able to sort of, if you want to, keep on releasing other emulations, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. That's something we did for the liquid channel. Started off with 40 compressors, and now we have something like something silly like another 100 online or something like that. So
are these the same emulations?
They're not compatible with one another, but the compressors are essentially the same. But of course, we didn't have EQ with the liquid channel, so the EQs are brand new.
And do you foresee this ever going beyond doing EQs and compressors?
Not this one here, because it's focused on the job in hand, really. I mean, it's got enough on its plate just handling those. So besides, you've only got the controls here for EQ and compressors. So I don't think this product's not going to go anywhere else. Yeah. But for what it offers, I mean, it does so much, as I can show you now.
Yeah, right. Okay, brilliant. Thank you. So basically, you select a plugin as you would a normal software plugin, and the Liquidmix it appears in your plugin list as and this screen pops up, right?
Yeah, that's right. And then when you open the instance of the plugin, there it is. And like I showed you, you can just select a compressor, which I did there, the front desk, and then I can change all the compressor controls here, put the compressor in, change the threshold ratio as you'd expect. You might find for some of the compressor emulations that you have slightly different controls. For example, this vintage one here, which I think has been sampled from a Fairchild, You don't have a ratio or attack control,
no.
so they're greyed out.
Yeah.
And you only have the, I think, time constant presets here on this dial. The good thing about this unit is you can actually, if you click on free, you get the full range of controls. Okay. So it gives you your full release time, and it gives you your ratio and attack now as well.
Alright, so you could take the old classic and sort of just add in a few more controls. Sort of
yeah, that's it. I mean,
interesting.
You get the best of both worlds, really.
Yeah.
And then over here you've got your EQ. Again, just click and select from the list. This is only half of the ones that are actually available with the Liquidmix.
Can I just ask that? Am I right in thinking that you can combine a compressor with an EQ,
yeah,
and then can you assign that combination of compressor and EQ to all available slots that this unit has?
Yeah, you can do.
Right.
Either you can pick, say, this compressor and this EQ right here, and then you can save this whole setting as a snapshot, and then you can open up 15 more stereo instances and then paste in exactly the same settings, so you could have that.
Awesome.
Or you can have entirely different compressors and EQs. It doesn't matter. You can just have 32 mono, 32 channels running simultaneously. Good thing about the EQ is you actually got 7 bands here. So I've just opened up an EQ with 6 bands. Let me try picking another one which has. It's going. Which has just 5. Oh no, 6. If I get. Oh, hello. Got a friend.
A bee just... Oh, he's gone.
Let's try one that's got less. Oh, gee, I think it's got a few. Oh, here we go. So there's just a 3 band one here. Now there's 4 more bands here, and you can fill these up any way you like. Or in fact, I could just select one of these bands and change it. So I can click on this band here, go through to all my EQ emulations, and then find one particular section of that EQ, like a high frequency here, and now you just have one, the high shelf from that one EQ there. So I can build a 7-band hybrid EQ out of all these separate EQ sections.
God.
And you can do that in every one of the 32 instances. So
okay, so I'm just zooming in here. So the unit thing, the panel, should we call it, when it opens, has the compressor section on the left and the EQ section on the right, and you can combine them in any combination, as you've just shown, and then save those.
Yep, you can just save them as a snapshot. If you just click there, you can do it then. When you save that snapshot again, you can do everything from the hardware. I mean, if I show you over here on the hardware now.
Hey, should we get an ice cream?
Yeah.
We got the windows open because it's so hot today,
If I turn it around, how about...
Yeah, that's nice, but I might... yeah, I can see the screen actually, yeah.
Okay, I'll keep it at that angle.
Yeah.
So if I want to control any one of the plugins that I've got open on the sequencer from here, I just press the track select. Now lead was the one I just wrote in there, so if I...
Oh yeah, you renamed it. Right.
Yeah, if I go through select lead, press it, and now you're controlling. It's just like having that instance right here in front of you, but you've got obviously tactile controls, which is a great thing.
Right.
The way I control everything is by using this EQ band or compressor select here. So if I use this data encoder, you'll see it moves along here along the available bands. So we've got band 1, 2, 3, 4 of the EQ, and it actually just switches between the bands that have something in, unless I press down the data encoder and then move along, and then you can move to an empty band like that, and then I could select an emulation by clicking here.
Oh yeah, right, emulation select there.
Yeah, clicking in, selecting like a 2 kilohertz shelf, clicking on that. Now I've got a 2 kilohertz shelf on band 5 there, and then I can use these controls here to apply that EQ. This one only has a gain control, but you can see the active controls by the LEDs there.
Yeah.
So I can change the gain, turn the band on, and that's how you apply your EQ. And then if I want to move to change one of the other bands, I just select a band there, and again you've got your gain, you've got your frequency, and all the other controls there. And then if I want to change the compressor, go to compressor, and then I can either select a different compressor, or I can just use the controls down here. As I said, this one only appears to have a release and a threshold, I think.
Is that because they're illuminated?
That's right, yeah, and that's because that's the controls that the original vintage unit that's been sampled from has. If I now press free, now I've got, like I said, the attack, release, and all of the available controls. So
And compressor post EQ, I see there.
Yeah, that just allows you to switch the order around. Obviously, the most popular order is the other way, but because people think, I guess, compressor squashes the EQ. But
what's the link thing there about?
That is, you have the ability here for this to act as a dual mono compressor. So, if you were doing 2 mono tracks in Pro Tools and you opened up a stereo instance, you could compress each channel separately, or you could press link. I think link is actually active as default normally, and that just acts as a stereo compressor as opposed to dual mono.
And the sidechain, what's the sidechaining business like? Is that how dependent on that is the host software sequencer? Quite a lot, I'd assume. Yeah?
How do you mean? Sorry.
Is it possible to sort of use a sidechain on the compressors and
to use an external track as a
or any sort of one track to sidechain another or something?
Yeah, right now, no.
Right.
That's something that will definitely be in a future release because it's something that's already come up in the office, and right now you can't do it. But I think that's not something that necessarily. I think this is more about kind of applying vintage textures to the sound. I guess we should probably hear some stuff now.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. That's pumping, man. That is pumping. Jesus.
This is the first one to open up.
What is that one?
I think it might be API.
Yeah. Wow.
It's great, isn't it?
Play it again. It's not messing too much with the top end, with the hi-hats and things. It's not smearing them around too much, is it? And obviously the decay on the cymbal is sort of moving a touch. But wow.
Yeah, so let's try another. This one's based on a Joe Meek. It's been sampled from a Joe Meek, so let's try that one. Trying to do fairly heavy compression, so
That's that's tightening it much more down than the previous one.
So I'll control it from the hardware now. So you can see the names of the ones here. So it's a high mid frequency. So
Yeah.
turn the band on.
Oh yeah.
It's a bit heavy. Turn down the output.
Yeah, but it shows what's going on. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. And over here on the software, of course, the same curves being replicated as on the little LCD screen down there.
Yeah. Want to change another band? I did find that I thought I'd do everything from here. I do find that sometimes I like to do a bit from the software.
Yeah.
But it's great having these controls here, just because that's what you really want, I think, to do EQs and compressors. You really want controls, and these controls actually feel great. They really feel like the kind of controls you'd get on a classic EQ and stuff. So so like I said, once you've created your 7-band EQ, say here by, I don't know, let's throw in a high pass filter there, let's go to another band, choose a 5K filter on there. You just created your own unique 7-band combination there and your compressor.
Yeah.
You click on snapshot and you can save that snapshot, which just gets saved as a normal file. It's a .lss file which goes into your Liquidmix folder on your computer. And then when you've got all your snapshots built up, then you can actually call them up on here as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when you've opened up another instance of the plugin, you just click on load snapshot and it brings up the list.
Wow.
And then you just load up that particular combination of compressor and EQ. So
it sounds like you thought this out very well.
Oh yeah, a lot of thought's gone into it, and it's
God.
it's great fun.
I want one.
Yeah.
I want one.
I know, it's a godsend for me. Every time I sort of open up a session at home and I run about 4 plugins and my computer falls over. So
Are they giving you one at home?
Well,
I'm
an official
right.
tester, you see.
God,
benefits. Yeah.
yes, he's just gutted me, but I've been informed that it won't be available for PC until some 6 months after the initial release.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so if we open this instance back up, we can try out some different EQs now. Let's open up a new one. Let's try,
What are we using there?
Old Tube. Old Tube is based on a Pultec.
Okay.
Every time I click on a new band, you notice that band actually appears in red.
Mm.
It appears in red here, and the black band you can see at the back here is the overall EQ. So if I turn it off, you'll notice it disappearing from the black one there.
Mm.
If I increase it to max there.
So the red line is the currently selected parameter.
Yeah, you're adjusting, yeah. And then if you turn the band on, you'll see it appears on the black line there.
It does sound smooth. Oh, pardon me. Okay.
I mean, I'm just sort of randomly applying EQ without too much thought here. But
Yeah, I mean, I'm not familiar with these monitors, but it does sound very smooth. Just whatever you want to try, just something different, so I can see if there's any kind of discernible character, how much character difference there is. Just sort of thing.
Okay, what's
It does sound different. Hard to describe. It's really hard to find superlatives or whatever the phrase is, but how could I describe it? It's sort of almost like it's a little bit grainy or something.
Definitely sounds grainier. Yeah.
Yeah, is that the right word to use?
I think
the other
so.
one sounded more sort of oozy and sort of.
The other one sounded warmer, definitely, didn't it? Whereas this one sounds sort of more earthy, doesn't it? Well, yeah. Well, the last one was one with valves in, whereas this one is a discrete one, as you can see. But it's I think it's sampled from an API. I think so. That explains the sound.
That's nice, though. That is nice.
Well, the best thing about it is, if I like the sound of both of those, then I can take the one from that, the last one. I can add a section from that, the other emulation in here as well. So I can have the one that's up from the API, and then throw the one from the Pultec in there as well. And then I can apply both sounds to my mix. So.
That has changed. I can hear the very subtle difference it's made in tone now. It's now kind of in warmth, halfway between one and the other, a little bit, sort of thing, so to speak.
That's it.
That's pretty versatile, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's what my computer's been waiting for, certainly. So.
Okie doke. Roughly those settings.
Okay. 41. Tactile.
Do you know which emulation this is?
This one. No, but let's try one that I do know.
Okay.
Vintage one is the emulation of based on a Fairchild. Again, we've only got a few of the controls active, so if I press 3, then I've got all my controls active, then I can change the settings to be what you wanted.
So you now sort of got a Fairchild with additional controls?
With additional controls, yeah, that weren't on the original, so now I can change that to 10 and 0.3-ish. It only goes down to 1 on that one. Okay, so let's try that.
Yeah, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Just totally different character to the other one.
Oh, it does have an expansion card, although that's really, I think it's really going to be for use for people who work at 96k.
Okay.
With the far wide bandwidth, the number of instances of Liquidmix that you can install actually goes down to, I think, 8 when at 96k from 32 or whatever, and then down to 2 at 192. So so with the expansion card that you can apply, which is just unscrew the back here and just shove it in there, it actually doubles that. So you get 16 channels at 96k.
Okay. So you get 32 at what, 41?
32, 41, 48.
Right. Okay.
So those sample rates, which is. Personally, I've never worked with anything but.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
Mainly for hard disk space, but also because I personally haven't noticed a great deal of difference between in audio quality. I think it's one of those things.
Yeah. Me neither. I might do if I was sort of recording something very esoteric.
Sure. Yeah.
Some chamber orchestra or something to digital.
Of course. Yeah. Most of mine is dance music. So.
But hey, then you'd be in stereo anyway, wouldn't you? So
you
can still use it at 192. Can't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, thanks very much, and ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'm sure you'll be looking out for it. Liquidmix from Focusrite. Bloody hell, I'm pretty impressed.
Great.
And thanks from a lot.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.